Hello, everybody. So, this is another of these mastermind sessions one on one with Jan. Today, it's basically I'm here for you. So, whatever you are currently facing, I am here to explore avenues for you to go over those hurdles. So, how is everything going so far? Where are you at?
Hi,
What's
hi,
your current situation?
yeah. Hi, Slavica. Thanks for having me. And I'm doing good, but I if I'm stumbling, it is in finding the right people, which you've been talking about and Dan's been talking about. Not getting caught up in the shiny things and looking elsewhere, staying focused, but looking at how to find the right people, the people that are my people.
Okay, so how did you already define who are your people?
Well, I think that has changed a bit because I was finding that in the niche that I was looking at, um, I just feel like the people that I was approaching were not um, in a place that they were serious enough to to take in what I had to offer and
So
at the
what
price that
is
I'm offering it at.
what is your yeah, forget about the price, okay? I think I'm kind of like keep on hearing this price thing, okay? We're not selling on price. So you need to get over it. Like
Hmm.
seriously.
Hmm.
Okay, people buy a freaking $10,000 watch not because of the components of the watch. Okay, so we need to stop thinking about the price because, and I'm now like going through this amazing Grant Cardone I spend the learning about the price not being an issue. So it's like somebody else saying it. But and he brought a point that I really, really like is if you really think it's all about price, then we would never need salespeople. We would never need anybody. It would only be price driven. People will just go for the price and it would be everything would be automated and there would be no personal relationship and the lowest price would win. But we all know that the lowest price doesn't win. On the contrary,
Hmm.
so going for the price is such a wrong way of doing things. And what's going to happen is the more you have that as an obsession, the more you will hit hurdles to prove to you that the price is an issue. So the more you are focused on the price, the more your brain will say, "Oh, that is what you really want us to focus on. I will show you all the times where the price is an issue." So you need to force your mind to stop thinking about the price. When you think about the price, what it actually means is I am too afraid of what my value is. So you need to sell yourself on the value. And if someone knows that and to understand what the person's problem really is. Because if you say, I can't find my client because they don't want to pay me, that's the wrong answer. You cannot sell them because you have not figured out what pains them. So your client has to be the person that has the pain, but your job is to uncover it. Your job is during the call to say, well, what's your issue and to understand the value of fixing that problem. Because when somebody really has a problem, especially in health or mental health or depression, they'll do whatever it takes to get out of it because it's such a huge problem. They would give an arm and a leg, sell their house, their car, just to get out of the pain. So there's two things. You need to find people who really have that pain. And my gosh, nowadays it's like almost every second person, every third person. And the other thing that you need to, and they mingle. People that are, you know, people flock together, right? So they mingle. So you hit one person, they're probably going to be depressed together. So they're probably hanging out with 10 other people of the same issue, right? So your job is to define what's the pain point that you solve. I think you're pretty good at that. I think that you're pretty good at. I think you're pretty good in evaluating that. Yes, you bring a real good value. I think where you have an issue is potentially understanding, making the person understand just how bad the situation is. And when we try to help people, we usually help them during the call. And if you help them during the call, what happens is they think, oh, well, it's an easy solution. Why would I pay for that? She's already giving me pointers of how I can get out of this issue without having to pay her for it. So I'm going to do it on my own and I don't need her for it. Your job is to press on the pain, to show the pain, to put how smelly and bad it is, so that the client understands that without you he cannot make it. So as in the course, what I say is there's three reasons why somebody's going to hire you. One is they have a real problem. So they have a problem you can solve, and they cannot do it without you. And they believe that you can do it. So you need to understand which one of those are not working. So when somebody talks about price, it's not price. You got to ask the real question. You don't trust me that I can bring you there? Is that why you're not ready to go? Because it's not price. Somebody that wants to get out of a bad situation, they'll find money. They'll sell their car, they'll get a loan. Like, look at drug addicts on the other side of the spectrum. When they want their thing, they'll do whatever it takes to get their thing. Look at kids. When they want their thing, they're like slamming their feet against and their hands against the wall because they want that thing. So the people that want the thing, they'll do whatever it takes, but they have to believe. And you'll see a kid will never ask the parent that he knows is not going to deliver what they want. They'll always go for the one that they know they can get the result from. So they need to make sure, you need to make sure that they believe in you, so that you have the authority to deliver on what you say. And that one comes from the mindset, from being certain about yourself and explaining that within the first steps of the conversation to the client, so they know what has been your success so far. So they feel confident. They say, oh yeah, she can do it. I cannot do it by myself. And yes, it is a real pain. So now, where do you find people like that? Well, if you look at your closest relatives, your closest friends, okay, what I suggest is you start with a list of the closest people around you, your family members, your second family members, meaning your cousins, your third cousins, then your closest friends, and then your past worker, the people you worked with or for in the past, people you're acquainted to on Facebook, people that have sold you anything in the past. You can find a long list there. And then within those, you start asking the questions. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How is this current situation affecting you physically, mentally? Hey, how is it going? Just to see, how are you doing? What are you been up to? How is life? Not even trying to sell anything. Finding out about the person like a human being. And then from there, you can go into more in depth, if you see that they have and then to share, this is what I've been up to. This is what I've been doing. I've been helping people with so and so. They might say, oh my God, thank God, because I haven't shared this with anybody, but I'm having this huge issue right now. They might open up and tell you things that you would have never imagined that they're dealing with, just because they have not the courage or they don't know who to talk to. And there's your client. Or if you really see that, no, they're really, really in the best shape possible, then you can just ask, I really want to develop my clientele. I'm starting this and it means a lot to me. And this is my why. When you present your why, your purpose, your reason for doing things, you will get people who will automatically kind of want to help you because they'll have the same why. And when it's a human why of, I really want to help these people because I want to end that suffering. Do you know of anybody who's living that suffering? Then you will find that they might say, you know what? Yeah, actually, Bernice, I saw her. She's not doing too well. Or my husband, or, they'll think of people and they'll give you leads free of charge. They'll be more than happy to help you help people. So that's why I say leads is not so much the issue, because when you're sold on what you're doing, you will have the motivation, you will find the leads, and you will sell them, and the price will never be an issue for you and for them. Because when you're passionate about something and you're like, oh my God, I'm saving lives, I'm doing something that is so imperative for people to have, you will like shake people up. You will say like, hey man, if you're not doing that, I know people who ended up in the ditch, who ended up like losing everything, who ended up dying. Wake up, you need me here. That's when you don't care about any objections. And the price never even comes into play. It's, do you want to live happily or do you want to die miserably? That is the real question. What is your choice? That is the real choice. It's not about $25 change. That is the real choice. And you see the different conversation?
Yeah.
When somebody realizes, hey, wait a minute, this is a real wake-up call here. I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm going in the direction where I might lose everything. Are you going to wait? And, if they don't get it, you say, okay, fine. You know what? I'll call you in a month. Or if you end up in the ditch before that, here's my number. Call me immediately. That will make them think that there is no other option. And you can ask them, how long? How long has this been going on? How long? If they tell you it's been, a year, 3 years, 5 years, it's like, oh my God, this is really bad. How long do you want it to continue? You see that the conversation is absolutely nowhere near money.
Yeah.
So to go back into where do I find clients, start with the people that are closest to you. And you'll be surprised. Start with your family members. Talk about just what you're doing and the great results you've had without telling them about helping them. Just sharing. And then opening up and saying, hey, I really want to grow my business because I see, the potential of the good that I can bring in the world. Please help. Can you please help me? And who is going to say no? If they say no, I don't want to help you, they're not your friends. You can scratch them off your list forever.
Yeah.
Right? Because what's the point in having people like that? But if they're true friends, they're going to say, wait a minute, let me think, let me talk to a few people, let me think they might call you back the next day and say, hey, you know what? Why don't you go post? And you could do that. Post in all the AA locations. Post in all the, the places where people that have those kind of mental issues mingle or circle around. Go into those groups, Facebook groups that talk about mental illness. Start conversations with people. right?
Right. Yeah.
What do you think? What is your reply to all this?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense that you need to reach out to people that you know and who know you and move from there. Yeah.
Because your best fans are people who love you already.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those are like the closest circles that you have are people that already know you a little bit. I had like I don't know if I shared a video here, but on in this group, but I had a oh it's in the course. I had a friend from high school that called me once. She had a super huge problem to solve, and when she found out I was a coach, she out of the blue, after not speaking to her for 15 years, she called me. So all your friends from high school, from who, like, we know so many people. We can't count the amount of people that we met in our lifetime.
Hmm.
We know so many people. So it's not the people that is missing. It's us having the guts to reach out to the people.
Hmm.
And how do you find the guts to reach out to the people is when you are sold on your own thing, when you know how important it is, when you know how good it is. And that is a mental practice to actually like wake up and say, wait a minute, what I'm doing actually has an amazing impact on people's lives. I am the difference, possibly the difference between somebody living and dying.
Hmm.
And once you realize that, imagine a firefighter, there's a fire and he's like, not sure if they're gonna accept me walking into that building. They don't usually open the doors to strangers. I don't know them really that well. How am I gonna introduce myself? No, the guy breaks the door, he extinguishes the fire. He doesn't ask questions. So that's how I see what I do. What I do is I pick up a business that's really start diving, and I inverse the line and make it go like super speed high. So when for me, like, unless somebody is so broke, but usually I found that people that really need the service somehow always find the money. And the other thing I found out is that everybody, and I say this with love, everybody lies. Everybody tells you they don't have money, and everybody lies. And I have been hurt and disappointed by believing what people told me. When I had even clients, at some point I did a month of pro bono work, a month of giving. So it was like whoever needed a month of coaching from me, just raise your hand and I'll do it for whatever you can pay me. People paid me like 80 bucks, $100 for the month. And I found out that they had like tens of thousands of dollars stashed away. So people lie. Okay. So, and if they tell you they will spend only 2,000, that means that actually they have three times that. So the idea for you is to understand that price is never an issue. People will never say what they really are able to spend on something. And that's why, I feel it's like also like, the guy who never wants to marry you, always dating you, and then tomorrow you see him marry someone he just met after a week. Those stories. Well, there's the same thing with clients. Clients telling you, I don't have money to pay you, but then they hire another coach for three times the money. It was never the money. It was you presenting your offer, figuring out what their problem was, and seeing if you are the person to solve that problem. And if you are the person to solve that problem and the problem is big enough, they will always pay, we always pay less than what we think the solution is worth. But your role is to present how much the solution is worth so that you can charge whatever you want. Someone who loses their arms and legs, they would pay millions to get them back. Someone who loses a loved one, like a parent, at the moment of the loss, they would give back everything they have, everything they own, or a child, everything they own to get that person back. So it's not about the money, it's about the value considered for the person. So if you can make somebody understand that they're winning their life back, how much is that worth in terms, even in terms of money? How much is your life worth? You know,
Yeah.
it's like the money is never going to be an issue. And if really they're broke and really they can't pay, okay, then, you know, eventually you'll have a group coaching, or eventually you'll have, you know, you'll sell them your book or something and get back to me when you have more money. But oftentimes I saw people even borrow money because, and you can tell them, look, if you borrow money to pay me, you will win two ways. You'll be able to give back that money anyway, but then you'll be able to fish on your own. Because if you really don't have money, you'll have to borrow money at some point. So are you going to borrow money for a quick fix and go back in the ditch, or borrow a little more, but at least get out of the ditch, pay off that person, and then move with your life, move on? So it's really, I think the core is you believing in what you do. I think you have that. And now it's about practicing you discovering what people need to understand and really being better at sales, basically.
Yes. You're right about that.
So I think it's really that. Because once you understand how sales function and you become a master in sales, you can sell anybody. And what I'll do, if you want, is I'll send you a link to the sales training I'm going through. And like, I've been in sales all my life. I started in sales when I was 8 years old. So I've been in sales all my life. And I'm blown away. Like, I'm learning things that I'm blown away. I'm learning things that I never knew. And I was like, in the companies that hired me, I was the top salesperson. I was called a shark because nothing survived me. After I passed, it was like tornado. There was nothing that was left. Everybody signed. And what was unsigned, the companies that I worked for said that it was then unsellable. And now I'm learning things and I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. So I'll send you the link in your personal mailbox, so at least you have a look. I think it's worth it. But apart from that, just practicing, nonetheless, no matter how, just practicing your own capacity to discover people's real needs. And when they say price, as soon as they say price, you can say there's something I didn't understand in what you're saying. I missed out something. So please tell me, what's the real issue? What is the real issue? And you can tell him, let's say you had $1 million. Let's say price was not the issue. Let's talk about price after. Let's say price was not the issue. What is your core issue? What's the real problem? Oh, I hired 5 coaches before you, and nobody delivered, nobody helped me. Aha! So it's a trust issue.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you a little more about me and my results. Then you understand it's not price. Then you end up that, so do you feel more that I am the right person to help you? That you can trust me in helping you? Because then you understand it, the person's been burned. So no matter the price, they're burned. Mm-hmm. So you need to understand if they trust you. Mm-hmm. After, so I understand you've been burned. I know how that feels. I've been scammed so many times too. We all go there. So that's okay. But now, before we discuss price, have I made enough, have I given you enough information for you to believe that I am the right person for you? Because even if I give you my coaching for free, you don't believe that I can bring you there, you won't follow my advice. Mm-hmm. Therefore, no matter the money you pay, you won't follow what I'm telling you. For me to be effective, because I want to win, I want to be a successful coach. I want to have more testimonials of success. I don't want to take anybody on board. I don't want to take you just because you're paying me. I want to take you on board if I know that I can be successful with you. Because I don't want to have a bad review. So for me to make sure that I can be successful with you, I need to make sure that you trust me and believe that with me, you will be successful. Because if he doesn't believe that with you will be successful, he won't follow what you say. And from the get-go, he'll go backwards. He'll be like, what she's saying doesn't make sense. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. So even if you give it for free, and the worst part is if you lower the price, then they'll devalue you. You'll be just another discount. You know what we do with discount things we get. We don't value them as much as things that are pricey. So, anything else?
No, that's a big one for me right now, and that's been helpful to hear what you have to say on that. And it's a very good perspective to look at it from. You only want clients that want to be successful with you.
Yeah. Because that's it's like those I don't know if I watch a lot of movies. It's like in those movies where you have these lawyers that had 300 cases and they won 300 cases, but every time they get a case, they study to see if it can be a winning case, and they don't take any losing case because they want to have this perfect score. Mm-hmm. We want to have a perfect score, not that we're not going to take difficult people or difficult cases. Mm-hmm. That's not the thing, but we want to have a perfect score in the sense that we want to make sure that the people that we take on board are really going to be on board, are really going to be committed. And the other thing that you can be certain of, the more someone pays, the more committed they'll be. Because we associate money with commitment and value. Mm-hmm. So, but first of all, before even getting to money, you have to get to the bottom of what's eating your client. Make sure that he knows you have the solution. Make sure that he trusts you, that you will be the person to deliver the solution, that you like each other, because it'll be a journey together. And life is too short to work with people we don't like. Mm-hmm. And when you open yourself to the abundance of the universe, and, I often, like, I'm watching here all the leaves and the trees outside. I mean, as soon as I walk outside and I see just how abundant our universe is, how many cars are are being driven, how many people are walking. I remember the first time I came to Florida, it was on vacation and I was broke like there was no tomorrow. I was pathetic. I was very pathetic. And I came because I was on the very limit of a nervous breakdown. And when I came, I got into a traffic jam just over the bridge to arrive here in the near the beach. And I was stuck in a huge traffic jam. And I looked around me at the hundreds of cars and the boats and the leaves in the trees. And I thought, oh my gosh, with all the people around me, there is not one chance in the world that I cannot make it here. Because I can stand in a corner of a street and I'll find 5 clients after a certain time. Mm-hmm. So I became convinced that it was impossible to fail. You see, so what I'm saying by that is you need to convince yourself of the abundance of the universe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you know that it's so abundant, you'll be more distant with the client. You'll be less needy. And you'll be more like, and as soon as we became distant and a little more objective, we lower the stress level in our brain, which therefore allows us to have much more creative ideas than when we're just in selling mode and frightened of being rejected. Mm-hmm. When you don't care of being rejected, you can be more yourself and be more listening to what the client is saying and the client needs are. Mm-hmm. You see, so it's a very different state of being, state of mind.
Yes, for sure.
So, well, I hope all of this helps. So now it's just putting it in practice. So start, small. And sometimes, the best way to do it is to ask friends and relatives to help you practice. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? I have my sales pitch. I have a couple of friends like that became my clients after practicing my sales pitch. Mm-hmm. Because suddenly they realized, oh my God, I actually need her services. So practice your sales pitch just to practice your sales pitch and to feel comfortable. Just like when we have the stage fright, people who have stage fright, it's good to be first presenting in front of friends that feel very comfortable. So they unblock their brain from the fright, and then they can move to people that they don't know that well.
Yeah.
And if you say, look, I'm just presenting to practice, then you'll see you're probably going to present much better because you won't have the stress of the close.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah.
And you shouldn't be frightened of the close or the rejection, because if you do everything right, your closing rate's going to go way up. Mm-hmm. So, and it's really about you, even like self-convincing before every call that it's not about the price. Mm-hmm. I want to get a client that I can ace on, and that client needs to understand that he needs me.
Yeah.
And then we'll speak about price when that part is over. Mm-hmm. See, when that part is over, the client may even say, hey, what's the price? And you can say, well, I'm not sure we're there yet. I still want to make sure you're the right person for me. There's no point in wasting time on price if you are not a client I can help. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. All right. So all of that, hope it helps you and whoever watches this. And and post, comments or questions whenever you hit another wall.
Okay, and for sure, it helps. Absolutely,
I'm
it
glad.
helps. Always helps to talk with you.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
enjoy the rest of your week.
Okay, you too.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Bye.